The Richmond City Council recently pulled a tax proposal off the November ballot and accepted a historic settlement with Chevron, bringing more than $500 million to the city within the next 10 years. This as the oil and gas giant announced it's moving its headquarters from San Ramon to Texas earlier this month. For a closer look, we are joined live on the KCBS Ring Central Newsline by John Joya, Contra Costa County Supervisor. Mr. Supervisor, thank you so much for your time.
Glad to be here.
Can you put it in perspective for us? It sounds like a big deal, but how transformative is this deal for the city of Richmond? Where is the money going to go? Do you know?
Well, it is a lot of new money to go to the city's general fund, which is a budget of close to currently around $500 million a year. So if you look at this amount, it averages about $55 million a year for the next 10 years. And can be used for things like fixing streets and roads, improving emergency medical and fire and public safety services, more park and rec programs for young people, cleanup of toxic sites. So it really can be used for a broad variety of needs. I think this was a very good deal for the city. They avoided the uncertainty of the tax campaign and the lawsuit that would have happened had it won. I think a lot of us were confident that this measure was going to pass. I supported this measure, but it also avoids the litigation risk.
So now that the measure is pulled off the ballot, you think it's dead for sure?
Yeah. So the city council had until last week to make a final decision to pull the measure before the ballots were printed and the last day under the law, which is what they did. They basically met that deadline with like an hour or two to spare. And so there's no need for it to be voted on since they will, under this agreement, receive $550 million over the next 10 years. And it was a bold move by Richmond to put this item on the ballot. First of its kind, oil tax, $1 per barrel. They are receiving pretty close to their minimum estimate of what they would have received. They estimated that they could have gotten at least $60 million per year under the tax. So this was a pretty good deal for the city.
It's so interesting because over the years, as you know, you've been in government for a long time. It's a love-hate relationship with Chevron when it comes to not just Richmond, but the county in general, Contra Costa County. And how important, and they announced that they're moving to Texas. So how important has Chevron been when it comes to tax revenue as opposed to the pollution that it puts into the air in the East Bay?
Well, there's both. Chevron is the largest taxpayer in the city of Richmond for their budget. It also it does employ a lot of individuals with good paying jobs, and it is a polluter. So it is an interesting relationship, and I serve on the Bay Area Quality Management District Board, and we just reached a major settlement with Chevron where they withdrew a lawsuit against one of our new regulations that would require them to install equipment to dramatically cut pollution at their refinery. As to their move to Texas, they already had been making that move. They had 7,000 employees in Houston and only 3,000 in their corporate office in San Ramon. Many of them will stay to run California operations, but they'd already been signaling that they were going to move really to the headquarters for the oil industry in the United States. So it was really no surprise, but it will not, they have said, it will not affect their two refinery operations, one in Los Angeles and one in Richmond.
John Joya, we appreciate it. Contra Costa County Supervisor.